Hello and welcome to Shoot the Breeze, where we take a nostalgic look at a random football magazine from the past. I'm Andy Smith, aka Scott's Footy Cards on Twitter, and with me is Tom Brogan.
Hello.
In each episode we'll invite a special guest to join us in trawling through the magazine and discuss anything contained within it. This could be anything from an article, to a photograph, to a competition, to an advert. Basically, if it's in it, then we'll talk about it. So sit back and let's shoot the breeze.
Wriggles clear, might just get the chip, and he does, he's scored! Oh, what a great tackle! He's done it! Oh, brilliant play! Wiggling his way, that's an excellent one, and Didi! It's a goal, forward for Clydebank. Excellent play by Hughes. I think the player of the match, and sweetly finished by Penny.
Welcome to the second part of our podcast with Russ Litten. Let's jump back in and continue where we left off in part one. Yeah, so we're going to jump out of the magazine for a minute or two here, Russ, and we're going to do a focus on yourself. So you'll be aware of these focus on sections in the magazine where a footballer of the day will be asked some questions. So I'm just going to ask you a bunch of questions. That's okay?
Right. Yeah.
Okay, full name?
Russell Nelson Litten.
What's your birthplace?
Hull.
What was your first car?
I've never bought a car. The only cars I've ever bought have been with my wife. Our first car, I think it was a Volkswagen. I don't like cars. I'm not really big on cars. It was red, VW, yeah, red.
Enough information for me. I'm exactly the same. It's all about just the make, if you're lucky, and the colour, definitely. So, Who's your favourite player of all time?
What, in the world?
Yep.
It's a real hard question, isn't it? Favourite player of all time. Do you know who I really love? Cantona. I love everything about him. I love watching him play. I love listening to him. I think he's hilarious. I like his films even. I just loved the way he played the game. Apart from, I think players I've seen play, it would be him. Players I've not seen play, Maradona, I suppose. Just for the best in. I think he's the best of all time, Maradona. Really, my favourite is Cantona.
Yeah. Okay. Favourite team?
Hull City.
Yeah. What's your most memorable match?
The most memorable match is either that FA Cup final or the first one I ever went to. It was Billy Bremner's debut, and we was playing Blackpool. And I remember then, I don't know how old I was. I've tried looking it up. I've got a terrible memory. I think we lost 3-2.
Well, I sorry, Russ, because I saw you talking about this on a YouTube clip, and I looked it up. So it was a 2-2 draw.
That was it, yeah.
Saturday, the 6th of November, 1976.
There had been 8. And I just remember it was just the atmosphere. I think that, the way the crowd swayed and surged and the whole experience of football and everyone had turned up to see this little sort of like ginger-headed guy and what he did and the whole thing, the theatre of it. I thought it was amazing. So that really stayed with me. Other memorable matches. I'll tell you what I remember. I remember Watford in the playoffs. Caleb Folan, when they scored first, that was a really memorable match. That's the other one when we played Cardiff, and who was that German guy? He never scored ever. Posnich, I can't remember. Shane Paul McGrath. See, you're asking somebody who's got a terrible short-term memory about things that they remember. Sheffield Wednesday away, that was a good match. But we was locked out of the ground. We couldn't get in. I got in just as Barnby scored. We beat them 4-2. Loads. But then they're not so much to do with the football as to do with the people that I was with. Do you know what I mean? So I think my most memorable match was the FA Cup final because I was there with my son and it was so exciting. It was so brilliant. It was like everything that football should be about. Well, for about half an hour it was.
Okay, what's been the biggest thrill for your life?
Biggest thrill of my life? Jesus Christ. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this. Biggest thrill? How do you define thrill? What, like a sort of sensuous sort of the moment?
I would stay away from the sensuality side of thrill.
I mean, what that's what a thrill is, isn't it? It's a sensuous word, isn't it? A thrill. What, like driving at 100 mile an hour in a car. Biggest thrill? I don't know if I can answer that. I think watching my kids being born, that's a cliche, isn't it? But it's true. That was just astonishing, watching somebody arrive in the world.
Yeah.
I've never, ever, ever seen anything more amazing than that.
Mm-hmm.
Or experienced a rush of emotion more amazing. So it's got to be that, hasn't it?
Yeah, that's absolutely.
All the other thrills are like fleeting, and how do you compare one thrill to another? They're all good, aren't they? Thrills.
Yeah.
But if you have too many, then they cease to become a thrill, don't they?
Well, no more babies then.
No. You become jaded, don't you?
Yeah. Okay, what's been your biggest disappointment?
The Incredible Hulk TV series when I was little. I remember it coming on and being really excited. Next week, The Incredible Hulk on telly. I remember thinking, "You're joking!" Like I was an avid Marvel, comic fan. The Incredible Hulk. I was running around the house like a madman, going off me nugget. And when it actually came on, I was like, "That's just a bloke painted green in the comics. He's like the size of an house. What's this?" Even at that tender age, I don't know what time it came. That was my biggest disappointment because I thought that was going to be a mind-blowing landmark in my childhood, and it was. Well, you've seen it, haven't you? It's useless, isn't it?
I'd have to. That's my most favourite, biggest disappointment yet, Tom. So that's
okay. You didn't even have to think about it, Russ. No. You were straight in.
No, it's funny because I was thinking about this the other day. Because my mum come round, she was going, "Do you remember?" And she reminded me of it. She said, "Do you remember when The Incredible Hulk?" She said, "I've never seen you talking about thrills. I've never seen you so excited." I must have been about the same age when I went to see City. It was like late 70s, wasn't it? "I've never seen you so excited running around the house." And then I remember vividly, I recalled it like being so downhearted at lame excuse for superhero antics. A bloke painted green going, "Grrr, rubbish."
Who is your favourite superhero? Who was your favourite superhero at that time, Russ, when you were reading Marvel?
The Silver Surfer. I liked him. He was like on the fringes of stuff, wasn't he? And he was sort of cool. And skateboards were big at the time, I think.
Right.
And I just liked the way he was drawn. Yeah, the Silver Surfer was my favourite one.
Right. And do you have a favourite superhero now?
My wife.
Okay, so on to the next question here. What's the best country you've visited?
Best country?
Yeah.
Best. I thought Mexico was brilliant. I loved Mexico. I love Spain. I just love the Spanish way of life. I think Scotland, I'd like to emigrate to Scotland. And I actually saying that because I'm on your podcast. I used to work up there and I just used to love, we used to get a great welcome. I used to love the attitude and the way that, I don't know, I've become really prejudiced against the English lately, to be quite honest. And I'm thinking, where can I go where I don't have to struggle to make myself understood? But it's not, you're not ruled by maniacs, psychopaths, and crooks. And maybe you've got a chance of doing that. So I'd like to bomb up there, maybe. What other countries? I used to like the Czech Republic. I used to live there. I'm going to go for Spain. There's something about Spain I really like.
Okay.
Loads of money, I think I'd move out there, yeah.
So this might be related, might not be. What's your favourite food?
I like spicy things, and I do like Cajun food, and I like I hesitate to say American food. By that, what I mean is Mexican food and Cajun food. You know what I mean? But that's what the pure sort of real American food. I do like that. I also like Asian food. I like Korean food. Thai food, I love. Thai food's great. I really like that. I like spice really. I'm a savoury sort of fella rather than a sweet person.
Yeah.
I'd rather go for that umami sort of smack of the lips thing.
Okay, so miscellaneous likes. So give me two things that you like doing.
That I like doing. I like riding my bike. I'm deeply boring. I like writing and playing music, and so I do that like all the time. You know what I mean? I don't really like doing much else. I like watching football. I like playing football with my kids. I like watching my kids grow up. I like listening to my daughter. I like playing chess with my son. I like my neighbourhood. I like life. I like the weather. I like walking down the street, listening to the birds. I like most things really. Dislikes. I'm getting to the age where I'm trying to the things that I dislike, I actually despise. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
I don't really do mild dislike anymore. I do out and out sort of hatred, but I reserve that for little bursts. You know what I mean? Because it becomes all consuming, especially nowadays.
Yeah.
Things that I like doing. I was a sensualist for a long time. You know, I like the embalming of stuff and that. But now I like sensualist of a different side. I like being healthy now. I like riding my bike about. You know, smelling the fresh air in the morning, finding out new things. You know, it's tiny little things I like. That's what I like. And I really hate big things. That's the best way of sorting it out for you.
Yep.
I think.
Great answers. What's your favourite TV show?
At the minute, what do I like? South Park.
South Park. Okay.
That's what I'm watching at the minute. Yeah. I'm quite rubbish at watching telly because a lot of it's sort of like series now, isn't it? Like loads and loads of episodes of stuff. And, I feel guilty about investing the time in it. But I've watched since lockdown. I've watched loads and loads and loads of telly and really enjoyed it. There's some brilliant stuff. My favourite telly program ever I've ever seen is The Wire. From a point of view of writing, I thought it was just astonishing.
Yeah,
I've never seen anything on telly like that, and I thought it was really great. TV shows. I don't know. I like watching things like Bullseye. I really like Bullseye. And I like it because, you know, the people on it, it's before an age when people were self-conscious about being on telly. And it's got a real heart and soul, Bullseye. And I think he's just hilarious, Jim. I don't know whether he's intentionally like that, but from a modern perspective, he's just like... he patronises everyone, but I don't think he means to. And his range of notes is breathtaking. So, yeah, Bullseye I like, yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, favourite singers. So if you give me 2 favourite singers or bands.
Singers or bands? Well, favourite singers. What, like technical or just sort of like whose music I like? Or
yeah, it just moves you musical-wise.
Oh, God. Michael Ed moves me at the minute. You know, obviously there's Karen Carpenter, Bob Marley, do you know what I mean? Elvis Presley, Otis Redding, Marvin Gaye, Johnny Rotten, Lou Reed. I like people who can't sing. I like people like Johnny Rotten and Lou Reed. People like who you know, technical prowess in anything. You know, contradicts what I've said about football earlier, but in music, I'm much more like someone who can get a song across rather than is technically perfect. You know, I'm not really into this sort of over-emoting type of singing going through the octaves. I like somebody like Johnny Rotten who screams it from his gut, or, you know, Otis Redding who shouts. But, you know, I like that sort of stuff. I like Michael Ed, as far as music goes. I love the music of Michael Ed. I love Frank Ocean. I love his music. You know,
Michael Ed was it Pale Fountains and
Pale Fountains and Shaq is in the Michael Ed and the Red Elastic Band now. I like him. I love, you know, I listen to mainly reggae, Motown, Northern Soul, sort of new stuff. I'll tell you what I like. Last band I really liked was Fontaines DC.
Yeah.
I really like them. And I like a band called Working Men's Club as well. They're really good. Maybe it's because they remind me of sort of like Joy Division and stuff when I was growing up, maybe. But yeah, I've made the conscious effort actually to listen to more new music lately because it's easy to slip into your old favourites, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're great. I like for them Fontaines DC. I like this band called Oceaneers that I'm in. I am a fan of them, so I'm allowed to say that as well. Yeah, it's you know, I could listen to it. I don't listen to music all day. It's like food. Like food, you can't do without it. Prince, he was the most amazing artist I ever saw. He was astonishing. Saw him in the little club in London about 6 months before he died. Yeah, doing the splits in mid-air. He was amazing. Play anything. He was amazing. Answer that one, yeah?
Yep. Okay, last question. Which person in the world would you most like to meet?
Alive, that I could meet?
Well, we tend to open this up, so it can be alive or dead.
All right. I'd like to meet Jack Kerouac, the writer, or Jesus Christ, or Big Chief Sitting Bull. One of them 3. Or Nina Simone. I'd like to meet her as well, yeah. That's 4, isn't it? I've got to pick one, haven't I? I don't know. You're better off not meeting people you admire. You're better off not meeting them because they'll just disappoint you, I think. They're not who you think they are or you want them to be a lot of the time. Who would I most like to meet? The next person I meet. I look forward to that. I'd like to meet you too. I'd like to get real life.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, thank you for the focus on. Do you want to say anything, Tom, before we
so just stay with you, Russ, before we go back to the magazine. I think I said when we got in touch originally, I thoroughly enjoyed your book of short stories. We Know Who We Are. I was just, obviously, you've published several novels as well. That I just wondered, the short stories your kind of passion, or was that a kind of route into writing novels?
My route into writing novels was songs. I wrote lyrics for a band I was in first. That's how I started off writing. And I really like, my first novel was intended to be a collection of short stories, and it ended up as a novel.
Right.
So after that, I sort of.
Sorry, this is it here that I've got. Is that right?
Yeah, that's the first edition. That.
Scream if you want to go faster.
Yeah, that started off as a collection of short stories. So then I wrote a novel after that, and then I wrote a novel after that. But I always had in the back of my mind to return to short stories. I really love them, and I think they're sort of they suit me at the minute. And I think people's attention span is getting long. Obviously, I don't buy into all this "the novel is dying" nonsense. I don't believe that, but I do think I could never understand why in this country why short stories didn't take off more. They're massive in America,
Mm-hmm.
I used to love I still love Raymond Carver, yeah. Sherwood Anderson, and all this sort of stuff. This the American short story writers, and that's what sort of got me into writing. Brevity of it, and lyrics, of course,
Yeah.
So yeah, I do. I always write. I will always write short stories. I'm writing another novel now, actually, but I will always write short stories because I think it's a great format. I love it.
And a lot of the stories in that book, I don't know if you call them slice of life, but there's a lot of them have got a wee sort of twist of darkness and a wee bit of horror that kind of creeps into them.
Well, I think I sort of write about, what I do is auto-fiction. I take things that have either happened to me or to people I know or I've seen and sort of like twist it, and sometimes it's imagining what's the worst thing that could happen.
Yeah.
Or imagining. But with that sort of stuff, I think it's where redemption lies. Do you know what I mean? If people are put under duress or marginalised, I think you get to the art of what I think, human beings being tested. Do you know what I mean? Lately, I've wanted to have a twist of light more than a twist of dark. I think there's enough darkness in the world without fiction added to it, really. So what I've tried to do with We Know What We Are, that short story collection, is provide, even though some of the characters and the circumstances are quite marginalised and quite fraught, there is some hope of redemption, or if that's not too big a word, or just hope, a slice of light in there, rather than writing about horrific stuff. I mean, I got really sort of bored of that recently over the last 10 years or so, books that tend to be, generally written by men, middle-aged white men, and they tend towards the grotesque. And I just got a bit bored of it all, really. So I thought I'd try and go the other way a little bit.
All right, great. So let's jump into the magazine. So here we've got a colour poster of Gary Mabbutt of Tottenham. Again, wearing that Spurs shirt. I was talking about the Hummel shirts with the arrows across the chest.
I'm looking at the ball as well. What's that say on the ball? Is it Minerva?
Minerva Supreme, yeah.
Yeah. Minerva? Did you say Minerva?
Yeah.
That's the name of a pub in Hull.
Is it?
They sponsor the Premier League football in 1987. Yeah. What's he wearing? Adidas, isn't he? Is that the Predator? Is the Predator?
I don't think the Predators were about then. I think that's probably just a World Cup or
Adidas World Cup, aren't they? Yeah, nice picture, Gary. Yeah, nice typography, very 80s.
Yes, isn't it? Anything you say, Andy, with Gary Mabbutt there?
Again, it's great strip, and in the background again, it's Sign of the Times. You can see the barriers around the fans again.
Best away ground I went to, White Hart Lane.
Yeah.
1980. We drew them in the cup. I think it was about 1981. Yeah, that was a memorable game. I should have said that for most memorable game, even though it completely forgot till I saw that. I remember this big fight starting, and this last started it. Yeah. I've never seen that before at a football match. Apart from Scunthorpe. Yeah, Gary Mabbutt. Yeah, I used to quite like Tottenham them days. I used to like Waddle and Oddle.
Yeah,
it's a doddle with Waddle and Oddle.
Right, we move on then, Andy. We've got another colour poster there. Brian McClare of Celtic, and he's in that sort of my mid-80s Celtic kit with the C.R. Smith sponsor that looked as if it was kind of just sewn on on top of the shirt.
Pacers. Remember them mints? Pacers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a lot to say about that picture, I don't think.
He's taken a bit of a thump to his ankle, though, hasn't he?
Yeah, some blood there in his ankle.
Yeah.
Ah, right, is that what it is? I thought maybe he stuck his half-time lollipop down there. Playing on with a bloodied ankle, the warrior, Brian McClare. Yeah.
I'm wondering if the Puma boots, maybe?
Yeah, I think it might be, yeah. Who knows?
Empty terracing behind him, so can't even really pick out who they're playing against or anything there.
That could be Celtic Park.
Aye, probably.
Yeah.
All right then, over the page again, we've got so on one side we've got Perry Suckling, who packs a Bible among his gloves and other goalkeeping accessories.
Religious footballers, yeah.
Well, he says he isn't overly religious, but he's got a Bible. He's been going to mass since he was, what age did he say? And he goes every Sunday, but he's been going. I think he was injured, and his mum prayed for him for a quick return from injury, and he did. So he thought, oh, there must be something in this religion thing.
Evidence.
I mean, if she didn't pray, then I would have been lame for the rest of my life, because that's how these things work.
Yeah. Saint Suckling is the headline. Strange, that it's Saint Suckling. Good name for a band, actually. How many other sort of overtly religious footballers can you bring to it? I thought immediately of Stuart Elliott at Hull City, who was a lay preacher,
right?
The Northern Ireland player. But any other overtly religious?
Brian Irvine at Aberdeen,
right? Yeah.
Marvin Andrews was.
Right.
He's a big.
Andrews, yeah. God told him to not back Dundee United and hold out for the big money at Rangers.
Any modern footballers overtly religious? Do we know? I'm not. I'm just.
No. I know. I'm just trying to.
Yeah.
I can't think of any.
Well, it's after Boric. When Boric was certainly fond of blessing himself, and I mean, I don't know if all that counts. I mean, I'm not just saying that. Obviously, a lot of Celtic players did that, but well, his nickname was a holy goalie, wasn't it?
Yeah, but right. If I'm being perfectly honest, I think a lot of it was a bit gratuitous.
Purposes.
It's a bit gratuitous. It was a bit, that's what it was. It was playing up to this whole thing.
Yeah, but we talked about that before, and an issue we had about a footballer who wouldn't play on a Sunday, and we were wondering if there was anybody else that had done that, but we couldn't really think of any.
Yeah.
Who did he play for? Man City.
Perry Suckling, yeah.
Can't say that I remember him at all.
I think he only maybe had a dozen games or something like that. Is that right, Tom?
Right, I couldn't say.
Yeah, I think about 11 or 12 games. And to be honest, I don't think he had many other games throughout the rest of his career. He maybe went to a couple other teams, but we're probably talking less than 50. And, my memory from looking at this earlier on may just not be working, but as I say, I think it was maybe less than 50 games and through, first team games through his entire career.
Looks like he's playing balls there, doesn't he?
He does. So anything to say about Tony Cotty there, the Golden Shoe Awards, before we move on? So
Boots again, isn't it? Boots again.
Was he the top goal scorer?
Yeah, so, Clive Allen was leading Division 1 with 23, and Tony Cotty and Ian Rush were joint second with 17.
Yeah. This was sort of like in them days, I didn't really take much notice of London clubs, to be honest.
Right.
I don't know, for some reason it wasn't really on my radar. West Ham, I don't really know a great deal about them other than the obvious stuff. Tony Cotty, he looks happy, doesn't he? He looks happy enough.
Right, so moving on, there's a couple of wee things to dip into. And Irwin at large, what's new? Mark Irwin knows. So there's a wee bit there. So you get again a very different picture of Ron Atkinson there. Russ, you were talking about how sort of smiley and tanned he was in that picture earlier on, but he really looks down in the mouth there.
I'll have to change it.
Yeah, up the top right. Yeah, but still tanned.
Oh God, yeah, morose and tanned.
So does Man United have agreed a compensation deal with former manager Ron Atkinson for his remaining 2 years of his contract? Big Ron was sacked in November and is believed to have accepted a payoff in the region of £100,000.
How much is that worth now then? About it'd be the same, really, I suppose, a few million.
And there's a bit there, United clear out that we were talking about earlier on. Manchester United manager Alex Ferguson is paving the way for a massive clear out at Old Trafford. And that means Peter Davenport, Remy Moses, Chris Turner, Arthur Alberson, Clayton Blackmore and Graham Hogg could all be on their way before long.
Yeah. Do you know, I'm just thinking about that Ron Atkinson thing. How many other industries do you know where you get loads of money for getting it wrong?
Well, it seems to be the higher you get up in industries, that happens.
Yeah, I remember that happening at a place I worked. This guy had balls this big deal up and they got rid of him and gave him £250,000. Well, what can I do? If I do something really sort of minor, no one will care. But I've got to do something really big, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mess up real big style. And then that's where the money is. Ron's big payoff, looking glum. But tanned again. It was Johnny Lockhead, Johnny Metgod.
Yeah, Johnny Method's. So they're saying that Johnny Method's nickname is Johnny Lockhead because he looks like Andy Lockhead. Older readers may recall Lockhead was a fearsome striker who took no prisoners during the 60s with Burnley and Aston Villa.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of players who looked like that in the Burnley team during that period. A
lot of football, like I think we've noticed, haven't we? There was, aside from the sort of pop starry ones like Charlie Nicholas, they tend to look older than. I mean, someone was telling me John Thaw was 33 when he made the Sweeney. You know what I mean? It's like, I mean, but a lot of footballers smoked then, didn't they?
Yeah.
And I know a few still do, but loads of them did.
I don't think there was the same sort of grooming that goes on today either, you know, personal grooming in terms of, you know, moisturiser and looking after their hair and their skin and all that stuff, which must make a difference.
Yeah, he'd have shaved it, wouldn't he, and got like a full sleeve of tats.
Yeah.
Himself as a psychopath.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking about tattoos then. Occasionally, it's, you know, we'll see a picture and there's a guy with just one tattoo, and that's when you notice it, that there's nobody with tattoos. But, you know, looking at that page, there's not a tattoo to be seen with any of them.
Just thinking, a few years' time, there'll be lollipop men with Darren written on their necks.
We'll just wait to the Man City keeper, is it? He's got them right up to his...
Yeah, God.
When he retires and gets old. Yeah.
Back then it was mild and bitter, wasn't it? Above each nipple. That's what Robin Friday had, wasn't it? Mild, bitter, one across each. I think Billy Whitehurst had that as well.
Yeah.
Old skull tattoos, man. Yeah.
Yeah, the only tattoos way back then were like the hand drawn or the hand sculpted anchors or something like that. You know.
Well, Scottish Chris, you used to get the lion, didn't you? The rampant, Got quite a few of them on old guys when I used to work up there.
Yeah.
So there's a wee snippet down there that says, move over Eric Bristow, Bolton striker Tony Caldwell, stunned regulars at his local, the Pendleton British Legion, when he recently recorded an incredible 18 darts, 701. That's an average of 117.
I don't know what game he's playing that's a 701. People play 701s? I thought 501 was
it was 501 or 301, I think. But yeah, it's just stunned regulars at his local, the Pendleton British Legion.
Who's this Bolton striker?
Tony Caldwell.
He should have got into that, shouldn't he?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that's the only time I've ever heard his name. Do you remember him, Tony Caldwell? I don't remember him. Do you?
No.
Good at darts. Eric Bristow, John Lowe, Keith Deller.
But you're right, he should have gone to darts because we remember Eric Bristow.
Yeah.
And we don't remember Tony Caldwell, so yeah, you missed a trick.
Hindsight's always 20/20, isn't it? Another one, we should track down him and the Saint Suckler. We should track them down and see what they're doing these days.
So let's pick a couple of wee things before we sort of close up. If we move on over the page, so worldwide, compiled by Roy Daly. So Lineker axed. And it's Gary Lineker in real danger of being axed by Barcelona boss Terry Venables. But it wasn't for the Barcelona team. It was because Terry Venables was picking a rest of the world 11 to play against the Football League on the 8th of August with the league's centenary celebrations. And Terry says Gary isn't assured of a place.
It's a non-story, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've seen photographs of the team lines up. He played.
He did play, yeah.
And they're not players, our boots.
Yeah, we'll need to check if he did wear his quasars. You can find the whole 90 minutes is on YouTube. But yeah, he did play, and it says here that Butagueno and Sanchez were going to be taking his place possibly, but neither of them played. But Platini and Maradona lined up in that team as well.
How long was he out there for, Lineker?
Lineker, a couple of years, I think. Yeah.
No. When did he go to? He went there from Everton, didn't he?
Yeah, and then back to Spurs.
Back to Spurs, yeah. I always thought, for some reason, I thought it was the other way around. Yeah, I remember that cup is just forever etched into your memory, isn't it?
Did you pick out the Hans van Breukelen, Tom?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say next. Yeah, it's about Hans van Breukelen there. Former Nottingham Forest keeper Hans van Breukelen has revealed his thoughts about English football now that he's safely back home in Holland with PSV Eindhoven. The Dutch international, who made 61 league appearances for Forest, says English football is less spectacular than the continental game. First division footballers play more with their heart than their head. They battle from start to finish, but there are very few ball wizards. The overall level of technique in England is in fact very low. They pressurise opponents all the time to cover up the enormous defects which are corroding the English game. Hard hitting stuff.
Yeah, he's not pulling any punches there.
That's precisely what that book I was talking about, These Feet, says.
Right.
You know, I mean, this podcast, I mean, one of the theories, I don't know if I can say this really, but in the book he said that basically it all came about, this emphasis on physical exertion was to dissuade adolescent boys from masturbation. This guy had written this thesis about, you know, it will make you go blind, it will turn them into sin, blah, blah, blah. Make sure they're worn out before they go to bed. And that's where it came from. This, you know, it was this one influential guy, his name was Thrap, this Victorian guy. And so from that, all English football from then on became this emphasis on, you know, the physical, and exactly what that guy's saying there. It's not encouraged. It's like that Fall song, isn't it? How Flair is punished. Kick a conspiracy. He was right. How Flair is punished. It is. Yeah, he's right, that guy.
So the whole style of the English game was to stop everybody from becoming a bunch of wankers.
Exactly.
It didn't work, did it?
That's it, yeah. You're rubbish at football because you're a set of wankers.
Yeah.
I didn't know if I could say that on there.
No, we're fine with that. We're fine.
Right, okay, so we move over the page again then, and I was going to look at on this page here. So there's an advert for next week's edition of Shoot, but at the bottom there we've got from Subutio, colour your favourite club players. So Club Colours is the exciting new colouring kit from Subutio, especially embossed for easy colouring and featuring 4 official club pictures in each pack.
Is Big Ron in there? Can we colour him orange?
see, for me, this isn't Subutio. It's got nothing to, you know.
They're branching out.
Yeah, but it's like stick to what you know in that sense. All it seems to be is a colouring in book.
Well, it's like Lacoste doing trainers, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? The polo shirts are lovely. The trainers are horrible. They're like bagel shops. You know, bagel shops are successful because you can only buy bagels. That's the beauty of them. Sorry, I divest there. Yeah, it's not Subutio. I agree with you completely. Yeah.
I love how they've put the like Arsenal, Aston Villa, Celtic, Everton in the team colours, apart from Hearts, which are purple like Aston Villa. So.
What's that then? I thought they were purple.
No, they're maroon.
Maroon. Oh yeah, maroon. Yeah, of course they are. Yeah. Well, Villa isn't exactly purple, is it?
No.
It's more like claret.
Claret, yeah.
Free fibre tip pens, or you get free pens. You should have done a fuzzy felt one. The fuzzy felt. Assemble your own favourite player through rectangles and diamonds.
Yeah, you don't see fuzzy felt much these days.
Yeah. But see, I was expecting at least so it's the Subutio picture thing. It's a face of the player, so it's like a body shot, top of the body shot, and then there's on either side there's a complete body shot but you would expect it to at least have the Subbuteo rounded base in order for it to, have the Subbuteo theme. So that's why I said if it at least had that, then there was, okay, this is obviously Subbuteo.
And who's that on the advert? Who's that's meant to be? Is that Terry Butcher? No, it's blue, isn't it? It's a blue kit. No, it might be Terry Butcher. Or he's got a hoop across. Who's that meant to be? Can't make it out.
I don't know.
You used to get stuff like that in packets of Weetabix, didn't you?
Well, it used to be. Oh, do you know what? I was thinking about this today because I bought 2 packets of Shreddies, and Shreddies for me are the ones that always had the letter sets, the transfers and things like that. And even now, when I open them up, I just want to put my hand down the side before I go into the packet and it's like the thrill, exactly. I remember getting glow in the dark Star Wars ones, and you would go into a darkened room and you would, just sort of rub them over onto the wall and stuff like that, and they would transfer over, and you'd put the light on, turn it off, and it would be glow in the dark. Absolutely brilliant.
Can I go back to my previous answer? My biggest thrill was Cybermen in Shreddies in Weetabix. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And standing on the little thing, like Subbuteo, you're completely correct. They had it on point, the cereal manufacturers.
Yeah.
This a big company like Subbuteo couldn't organise that for this Club Colours sketch.
Yeah. Shame on you, Subbuteo. It's a shame.
Yeah. No wonder you crashed and burned.
So the opposite page, we've got focus on Barry Venison of Liverpool.
Enthralling.
So you spoke about this earlier on, Russ, about some of Barry's answers there. They ask him what is his nickname, and he says, they called me Venna at Sunderland, but I don't have a nickname at Liverpool yet.
Yeah, I love the idea that when he got transferred, they had to leave his nickname behind, and it's like, no, leave it, get that Venna back.
He died when I left Sunderland. Venna died, yeah. Let's resurrect him. What else is it? Who does he like?
Favourite actor? Jimmy Neal.
Favourite TV shows? I'll read his own pitch. Just basically what was on telly at the time.
To be fair, he says Cheers, and Cheers is one of my favourites. Cheers is timeless.
Yeah, he's got that in it. A regular person, ambition, yeah. But yeah, just, he was always a bit of a fancy Dan, wasn't he, a little bit? Barry Venison, I think.
Yeah.
Bit of a Radio 1 DJ type.
Yeah. Yeah, who is that DJ that he...
Harry Davis, that sort of, he was like one of a young free and single type. I don't know, maybe I'm saying all this glibly. He might have been a deeply studious, spiritual. The looks of a pop star, it's not his fault, is it?
Well, as I say, if one of his favourite actors is Jimmy Neal, the chances are that he wasn't. Jimmy Neal and Jane Fonda. So,
I mean, nowadays they'd get the PA to fill this in, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
The favourite food's usually somewhat like Black Forest Gatto, isn't it? You know what I mean?
that is a cake from the past, that one, thankfully.
Yeah.
His long-term ambitions were to win as much silverware as possible and to play for my country. And he got 2 caps for England at his first when he was 30.
Well done, Barry. Good things come to those who wait.
Never give up.
Yeah, never give up.
So turning over the page then, this is just the second last thing we're looking at. So it's Rangers 0, Hamilton 1, the biggest cup sensation in Scottish history. So this is when Hamilton knocked Rangers out of the Scottish Cup at Ibrox. And there's a picture there of Adrian Sprott, who scored the goal. He says, I couldn't believe it.
He looks like he couldn't look. He looks incredulous, doesn't he? He looks like he's agape, sprottled. I must admit, again, this completely bypassed me at the time. But obviously a big upset.
Yeah, it was a big shock at the time. Although Hamilton were in the same league as Rangers at the time, they were both in the Hamilton were in the Premier League at the time. So I think technically, still the biggest cup sensation is probably Berwick Rangers when they beat Rangers in '67, or Inverness Caledonian Thistle beating Celtic in 2000. But this, again, because it was as soon as Rangers with Terry Butcher, Chris Woods, and like they said, Woods had created a British goalkeeping record for shutouts. It was a big shock. It was a big shock at the time.
Yeah, I think the context of how Rangers were playing and the quality in the team at the time, it was a huge shock. I mean, if you think back to the Inverness Caley and Celtic weren't in the best
No.
states at that point. You know, Mark Viduka wasn't a good influence.
Isn't it? The 11 versus 11, it's a cliche again, but
Yeah.
it's all about momentum. If you get the momentum, it's interesting. It's about momentum, isn't it? Football.
Yeah.
Sometimes watch a match and you can sort of tell after about 10 minutes that it's just not happening for them today at all.
Well, the thing is, if results like this never happened, football wouldn't be as greatly supported as it is. It's the fact that people know, people have hope, because these things do happen and have happened before, and so it is. It's like anything could happen.
Yeah, it is. It could. It must have been brilliant. I'm an academic. I couldn't. But what's he doing now? Sprottle, Adrian Sprott.
So it mentions there that Rangers are now going to up their pursuit for Mark Hateley of AC Milan, who obviously they did sign. Yeah. And there's a wee bit there. There's Jimmy Greaves again. Trust Jim.
Trust Jim, yeah. Have you noticed as well, they have done him in cartoon form here. It's more like a respectable Jim with a tie on. You know what I mean? Trust Jim. He's like Del Boy, isn't he? Anyone who says, I don't trust you, Jim, sorry. Trust Jim.
So he says, when the Ackies lost 8-0 at Celtic in January, I saw straight away what they were up to.
Of course you did, Jimmy.
Greaves also, I said to myself, they're lulling Rangers into a false sense of security. So while the jocks were falling off their sporrans in surprise, I was having a quiet chuckle to myself as John Lambie and the boys celebrated their famous sucker punch.
Oh, it's all about Jim, isn't it? He's one of them, isn't he? Oh, yeah, I know everything. You can't tell me out.
So Jimmy Greaves was famously a Hamilton Ackies fan, because apparently he'd had a dig at them on Saint and Greavesy when they were doing a piece on Liverpool. Ian St John had said, "You'll never walk alone," and Greavesy said, "Unless you're a Hamilton Ackies fan." And Hamilton Ackies wrote into the programme and said, "Well, why don't you come up and see us then?" So the Greavesy and the Saint went up to Douglas Park, and Hamilton offered Jimmy the vice president of their fan club. So since that time, he became a Hamilton Ackies supporter.
The thing is, in Scotland, that sort of invite isn't an invite to come up and see you, is it? That's an invite for a fight.
Really.
Why don't you come up and see us then, eh?
Do you know, it's one of Hull City's famous supporters is Omar Sharif.
Right. And
he got in it because he was in Dr. Zhivago with Tom Courtney, and Tom Courtney listened to City's results, and he said, who's that? Who's your team? And he got on really well. He says, Hull City. He went, I'll support them as well then. And Sunita is a Hull City supporter as well. Yeah, because she met Billy Whitehurst in the pub in Sheffield and thought he was the ultimate gentleman. Look at her, she's a proper Hull City fan.
Yeah.
Right, okay, so turn the page. This is the last thing we're going to look at here. So it's is Norman Whiteside a dirty player? And it's Target Man, and this was a wee feature that Shoot occasionally did, where a reporter would go and sort of analyse a player in a particular match, and they go to look at Norman Whiteside here playing against Coventry City in the FA Cup, and the verdict is fair, not foul.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think he was a dirty player. He was full-blooded, wasn't he? In that, I think he was great. He was. What do I remember? I don't remember much about that. He went to Everton, didn't he? After Man United. Yeah. Well, they've got an habit of doing that, Everton, haven't they? Of buying Man United players over the years. They've bought quite a few. I thought he was great. Whiteside. Was his career cut short? I think
it was. Yeah, he had a knee injury. I think he was about 27 or something. I think he stopped playing.
Yeah, I mean, people talk about Duncan McKenzie, the old, that he reminded me of what I imagined he would be like, Have I got, is that the right guy? Duncan, what's his name? Who died in Munich?
Oh, Duncan Edwards.
Duncan Edwards, that was it, not Duncan McKenzie. Duncan Edwards, yeah. He, when people talk about Duncan Edwards, I always just imagine him playing a bit like Whiteside for some reason.
Yeah.
He was great. I don't think he was. Where did he get that rep from for being dirty?
Yeah, I'm not sure where where that comes up from.
Was it especially in the period that he was in? It wasn't as if there was a lot of, striking violets at the time. It was, you've got Vinnie Jones in there. You've got, Brian Robson. Who, wasn't soft in the challenge, but for during that period to shine out as possibly a dirty player would have taken something. And I can't remember too much specifically, but when I think of Norman Whiteside, I certainly don't think he was like a dirty player. Absolutely not.
No.
I think he was a cut above,
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, and that piece says, is the Northern Ireland International a licensed thug who uses the boot to intimidate opponents, or has he been unfairly branded by people who have mistaken his natural aggression for something more nasty?
With hindsight, you can see why, like, hooliganism thrived. Do you know what I mean? Because it was almost virtually celebrated in these magazines, wasn't it? It's interesting, really. It's picking up on the sort of mood of it, of 87. Fair, not foul. He always used to make things happen, Whiteside, I remember,
Yeah.
Was that cup final? That was his
That's right.
finest moment, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Where he scored the only goal, didn't he?
Yeah, that's right, against Everton.
I think, it's a shame that his career was cut so short, because I thought he was great.
Yeah. Like I said earlier, there's a programme that's still on the BBC iPlayer from BBC Northern Ireland, Sporting Life, where he talks about his career at Manchester United. It's quite interesting.
I'll have a look, yeah.
So that's us got through the magazine.
Brilliant.
Good, wasn't it?
Yeah, thank you for that. So just before we wrap up here, Russ, what's happening with yourself at the moment? What are you involved with? What are you working on?
I'm writing a novel set in a prison. I'm writing a few short stories. I've got just put an album out with Oceaneers, Light of the Whalebone. You can hear that on Spotify and all that sort of like. I'm doing a spoken word project. Do you remember Magazine, the band Magazine?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Me and Dave Formula, who produced Light of the Whalebone, the Oceaneers album. Me and Dave Formula have done a spoken word collective called Oddfellows Union. So that's like a bit electronica and spoken word stuff. But all these things are like really nice sort of instant sort of things to do while I'm writing this book, because books take ages to write.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you've got to sort of like pepper it every now and again with a bit of music or a bit of short story or something that you can complete fairly quickly, because you always feel like you're in the middle of something unless you do that. And apart from that, I'm just just trying to navigate all that through this unfolding chaos.
Yeah.
That's just mind blowing, really. I mean, what's it like where you are at the minute? Then, I mean, you're in Batley, aren't you?
Yeah. For me, it's. I mean, I've been continuing to work from home, so it's not been a huge impact on what I've been doing. And I'm not a particularly sociable animal anyway, in terms of I don't need to go to the pubs. I don't need to, go out to restaurants and things anyway. Probably the thing I'm missing the most is going up to Glasgow, going up to Clydebank, going up to visit the family. That's probably what I'm missing the most, because I mean, you're talking about you like to go out on your bike a lot. I like to go out running a lot. Currently injured.
Running. I like running as well. And it's great. Yeah.
But I've injured my foot relatively recently. I'm now walking a lot more, which leads me to actually want to start going out doing wild camping and things like that. So it's actually, personally, I'm still doing things, probably almost to the same sort of level that I would have before. So what about yourself, Tom?
Yeah, well, I'm sort of adapted to it. I'm just sort of assuming that I can't really do much of anything until the spring, so I'm all right with it. I work sort of 3 days a week, so I'm out down there and then back up the road, shops, a bit of a walk. I'm sort of adapting to it all right.
Are you going to work, Tom, or are you working?
Yeah, no, I'm going. I work for a mental health charity, so we'd sort of cut back on all our sort of counselling services kind of thing. We just do telephone support at the moment, which is kind of hard for a lot of people.
a lot of art, what I do is in schools, and it's still a bit uncertain about what's going on. You know,
Yeah.
I'm usually back in schools doing creative writing workshops around about now, but that's not happening. I want to be a postman. I've just been turned down by the post office, which was like, that's my biggest disappointment. Apart from yeah, but I've reapplied. I don't think that you're allowed to reapply, aren't you? I've reapplied, and this time I think I'm in with a chance. So watch this space. So, you know, this new phase in my life, postman, I think could be the making of me. Middle and do you know what I mean? So keep fit, get up, get out the house, perform a useful function to the rest of the community, and get paid. That's all you want, isn't it? You know, mate.
To be honest, and I'm not being flippant here. I can see why you would want to do that. Because sometimes when I'm out walking or I'm out running, maybe it's a Saturday or Sunday, or Saturday it would be, and I'm far away from home, and I see a postman or a postwoman, and I just think they're pretty much doing what I'm doing, but they're also getting paid for it. And
you never see an unhappy postman or you know, person. You know, it's what I don't know about winter. Maybe it's a bit more of a testing time, but you know, it's great. You usually get finished by about 3 o'clock, can't you? As well, if you get a move on.
Yeah.
And you need time for the writing. You know, I mean, the one thing about the writing life is that you spend a lot of your time concerned with other people's writing in order to make money. You know, and I think I'd like to at this point, and maybe COVID's forced me hand a little bit really, to sort of move away from the arts hustle and do something that's completely unrelated to writing, but also something that I think is useful. Do you know what I mean? I don't like to just do something where I'm making somebody rich.
Yeah,
that don't appeal to me. Like what you work in the mental health. I mean, a lot of my work crosses over in that area anyway. Working in prisons and community centres and you know, pupil referral units, as they used to be called. But this crops up a lot, and writing's great for that. But I think I've reached that point in my life where I'd like to do something that doesn't involve the thing that I love. Do you know what I mean? To try and keep them separate a little bit. I think that would be quite good for me now.
So we're going to take a look at our charity partner, which is the Western Bartonshire Community Food Share. So this is a charitable organisation that provides various services and support to the local community, including the following: a school uniform bank, school holiday brunch bags, food provisions, Christmas toy bank, cooking and growing lessons, and a baby bank. They provide essential support to the local community in supporting individuals and families, and we'll be looking to support them in any way that we can through the podcast. This will include drives for donations of food, money, support in the form of volunteers, but we will also be raising awareness of the group to highlight the work that they do, and also to ensure that families and individuals who can benefit from the group are aware of these vital services. So you can follow them on the Western Bartonshire Community Food Share group on Facebook, or westernbartonshirecommunityfoodshare.co.uk for the website. Also keep an eye on our Twitter accounts, shoot_TB_podcast and Scott's Footy Cards for updates and news on our charity partner. Okay, so with that, we'd just like to say a special thanks to Pete Wiley of the Mighty Wah for use of Story of the Blues for the music of our show. And you can
Pete Wiley, he's great, isn't he?
Oh, he's brilliant. I absolutely love him. But you can catch up with him on petewiley.co.uk, and you can check out the details of his new music and any gigs which may or may not be coming up. Who knows at this moment in time. I would also like to thank our producer, Diane Jardin, for all her support on the podcast. And you can check out transmissionroom.co.uk if you're in the Clydebank or Glasgow area and you're looking for music recording and rehearsal facilities. So on that, Russ, we'd just like to thank you again we hope you've enjoyed going through the magazine with us. But really a big thank you for giving us your time tonight.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Absolute privilege, gentlemen. Thank you. It's been really interesting. It's been good fun as well. Yeah, I think what you're doing is amazing. Thanks for having me on.
Good, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And Tom, thank you as always for being Tom.
Thanks, Andy.
And for all you listening out there, please keep listening, share the podcast, come on to our website, give us some feedback, and until the next time, let's shoot the breeze.